To whoever may need this nugget of encouragement, things will be alright, so quit your worry. I get it, the odds can stack back against the wall, but even consider it such, no, you'll stand tall. Sit and watch from the sidelines, one too many times. Wicked games we play, make me wanna lose my mind. Found solitude, knowing it'll be over soon. Ever need a boost, count on me for the 1-2. Trouble don't last when the tough get going. Baby, all we do is win, so show me my opponent. Adversity, doubt, stress, could care less, cause how we handle those like an S on our chest. Super proud of how we held it down on the way up. Can't wait for our day to ball, this is a layup. Nobody ever said this would be easy, but trust when I say that you got it. I know you've been looking for a breakthrough, trying our best to make do. Every day is something new, but change gon' come, oh yes it's true. Brighter days are straight ahead. Follow me, won't be misled. Just look up, don't hang your head, and we'll get to the promised land. Somebody loves you, please don't forget such. Take your time, no need to feel rushed. We gon' shine somehow one day. Word to O'Shea, today's been a good day. Don't let one bad apple spoil the tree. The fruits of our labor seem ripe, can't you see?
What's going on, Queens? And welcome back to another episode of Her Path, Her Power. As always, I'm your girl, Ray. I've always got something to say. I'm your host, your friend, and today, your partner in a conversation that we don't have nearly enough: women's sexual desires. Before we get into it, let's anchor ourselves in faith. Now, I know it might seem odd to start a discussion about sex with scripture, but hear me out. God created us as whole beings, including our capacity for intimacy and desire. Song of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 10 says, "I belong to my beloved, and his desires are for me." That's not just about sex. It's about connection, intimacy, and feeling deeply seen and fulfilled. Today, we're going to dive into what it means to feel unfulfilled sexually, why so many women struggle with this, and how to reclaim your desires unapologetically. So if you're ready to get real, raw, and maybe even a little uncomfortable, let's do this.
Sounds dry.
So let's talk about the elephant in the bedroom, right? Unfulfilled sexual desires. Whether you're single, married, or somewhere in between, chances are there's been a time in your life when you've felt disconnected from your own needs. Maybe you're not satisfied in your relationship. Maybe you've been conditioned to suppress your desires. Or maybe life has just gotten so damn busy that sex feels like just another thing on your to-do list. Ugh, and who wants that? First of all, let's clear something up. Wanting to feel fulfilled sexually isn't dirty, it's not selfish, and it's definitely not unimportant. It's human. And yet so many women feel shame or guilt for even thinking about it, let alone talking about it. I'm not one of them, okay? And today, we're going to break that silence. We're going to explore why this happens, how to address it, and how to reclaim your power when it comes to your sexual desires. And yes, we're keeping it real because sex isn't always rainbows and butterflies. It's messy, awkward, and sometimes downright frustrating. So let's start with why so many women feel unfulfilled sexually, right? There are a few common reasons, and trust me, you're not alone if any of these resonate. So number one, I found that societal expectations and shame is one of the causes. Women are often taught to be the caregivers, the nurturers, the ones who put everyone else's needs first. Being selfless, that's who we are. And sex becomes something you do for your partner, not something you actively enjoy or prioritize for yourself. This is one thing that I need men to understand. Women have feeling down there, and we are not your cum bucket. Okay? Understand that. We want to have the same pleasure that you're feeling. We want to receive the same pleasure that we're giving you. You know, to have something reciprocal is not something that's hard to do, and it's definitely not a lot to ask for. Number two is lack of communication. Let's be honest. Talking about sex can be awkward as hell. especially if you've been with your partner for a long time. But how can you get what you need if you're not asking for it? Ladies, I say this all the time and I'm going to keep saying it. A closed mouth does not get fed. Doesn't matter which mouth we're talking about, shorty. If you're not communicating with your partner about your desires, if you're not communicating with your partner that they're not fulfilling those desires, if you're not communicating with your partner that just something just isn't enjoyable in the bedroom or something that they may have been doing for a long time that you may have faked it, because let's face it, we've all faked it. Okay. Now, how do you expect anything to get better? You have to be open to it. And I can't tell you how many times we've done this as women. And I actually found myself doing this in my last relationship. I didn't find that there was much spice there. I didn't find that there was much pleasure there either. I was just kind of like, oh, he's on top of me. He's already doing his thing or whatever. I feel like it would be awkward to sit here and be like, I'm not feeling it type shit. And then he had the nerves to sit there and tell me, listen, y'all, I am 26 years old and I was told that I needed lube. Do I need lube? Or are you just not measuring up to the bar to make it lubricated? That's the real question, because as somebody who is 26, I shouldn't have that problem. So I can't keep blaming myself. It's got to be you. But it was my fault for not having said something in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So to allow it to keep on going and I wasn't really feeling it or I wasn't really getting any pleasure out of it, that's on me. That's my fault. So number 3 is physical and emotional barriers. From hormonal changes to mental health struggles, there are so many things that can impact your libido and your satisfaction. And when you're exhausted from work, kids, and life in general, sex can honestly feel like the last thing you want to think about. Which leads me to my prior conversation in my last relationship. Yes, we were together, but I still had to pay half of the bills. Yes, we were together, but I was the only one taking care of my daughter. It just comes to a point where physically, emotionally, you can just be so drained that sex is the last thing that's on your mind. And because they may not be doing as much as you are, they won't understand that. So they may just be like ready to go. And everybody has to be on the same page when it comes to sex. Everybody has to be in a relaxed mood when it comes to sex. The moment has to resonate with the both of you in order for it to work, in order for it to be enjoyable for both parties. And I think that's something that a lot of us lack. We lack that feeling of relaxation when it comes down to it, because we might be stuck in a job that we may not enjoy. And that on top of being a solo parent in or not in a relationship tends to get the best of us for the most part. So when it comes down to getting down to business and stuff like that, we kind of fall short. It's just something that's natural and it happens and it's okay. But also, which leads me to my previous point of lack of communication. If you're not communicating that with your partner, they're not going to know. And if you have communicated that with your partner and they're still not doing anything to make it better on your end, then I would say stop giving it up, because why am I doing you a favor and you can't do me one? You feel me? Point number 4, disconnection from yourself. Like I said, sometimes the issue isn't with your partner. It's with how you might feel about yourself or what you're going through. If you're not feeling confident or connected to your body, if you're in an emotional state where you just hate your job, that's not your partner's problem. That's your problem. And you're going to have to find a way to fix it. So with these issues, when it comes to yourself and external forces, it's hard to enjoy intimacy, which is why all of these points come together and work together, because it's very, very important that you understand the why. It's very important that you understand why you're not feeling fulfilled sexually. Feeling unfulfilled sexually isn't just about sex. It's about connection, confidence, and feeling like your needs matter. When you're not satisfied, it can lead to resentment towards your partner or even yourself. It can lead to disconnection, which means you're starting to feel distant in your relationship or from your own body. And it can lead to very low self-esteem, which means that you're questioning your worth or desirability. And here's the thing. This isn't just your problem, okay? Sexual fulfillment is a shared responsibility in any relationship. And it's absolutely okay to expect your partner to show up for you in that way, because that is what intimacy is about. It's about showing up for each other, not just one person doing their thing and another person doing theirs. Y'all might as well be single. Y'all might as well just be out here doing your own thing in the streets. You feel me? When you're in a relationship with somebody, intimacy plays a very large role in your pleasure. All right. So let's talk about how to reclaim your sexual desires and step into your power, right? My first step for this is get real about what you want. You heard me? I know it's easier said than done, but open, honest conversations are the key to intimacy. You have to be honest. Don't be out here lying and thinking that shit's going to change, because it's not. Use I statements like, I feel disconnected when, or I would love it if we could do this, or I would love it if you could do that, to make the conversation about collaboration and not just blame. Nobody wants to be blamed for the reason why you're not feeling fulfilled in the bedroom of intimacy. You feel me? Like, that is a quick turn off. That's going to turn somebody off real quick, and it's going to lower their self-esteem to the point where they're not going to even want to try and pleasure you anymore. Unless you have that person who is up for a challenge when it comes down to it, but most people are not. Definitely strikes an ego and a complex for most of us. You don't want to go in there with the blame game. You want to talk about how to better collaborate in the bedroom to make it pleasurable for the both of you. Number 2 is communicate with your partner. Like I said, and I'm going to keep on screaming it to the rooftops, closed mouths don't get fed. So I know that it's easier said than done, but it's the only way. Okay. Step number 3, reconnect with your body. If you're feeling disconnected, spend some time getting reacquainted with your body. This can mean going to the gym, getting some exercise. You feel me? Like, that's one thing that I'm starting to do, is get into the gym. Not only does getting into the gym strengthen your core and your leg muscles, which are absolutely needed in order to have pleasurable experiences in the bedroom, but it also increases your libido. You could also try doing some self-care. So whether it's taking a bath or giving yourself a little spa routine, getting your nails done just to make yourself feel more desirable. You ever go get your hair done and go get your nails done and go get a new outfit, and you look at yourself in the mirror and you be like, I would fuck me. Yeah, that's what you want right there. Or you can even explore your own pleasures. Yeah, girl, I said it. Masturbation isn't a dirty word. It's a form of self-love, and I do it all the time. I am a very big fan of masturbation, especially when it comes to me being in my singleness and not wanting to get entwined with someone else, because as we know, sex is a soul tie, and it also is a transference of energies. And, lately I just haven't been meeting the right people that got the same energy as me. So, I might as well just keep that shit to myself. You feel me? But it's a form of self-love. It doesn't make you dirty. It doesn't make you boring. It honestly allows you to explore your own body and see what it is that you like. There are plenty of different toys out there that you can experiment with, either by yourself or with your partner. Nobody's saying that you got to do it alone. Masturbation doesn't mean that you have to do it by yourself. You can definitely masturbate with somebody else. Masturbation is just using other objects other than what's attached to your body to create a pleasurable experience in the bedroom. You feel me? So my last point here is address any underlying issues. If physical or emotional barriers are impacting your sex life, don't be afraid to seek some help. Talk to a therapist, talk to a doctor or a counselor to get the support that you need. Right now, I am in therapy, and while I am in therapy for other personal issues outside of being crazy, I guess, I'm actually also using my therapist to speak to her about sex and intimacy, because I want to know how to better be able to enjoy myself when I'm in the bedroom with somebody else other than just myself. And your therapist can teach you things that will open up your mind to things that you may not have been considering as to why you might be feeling unfulfilled. And they may even give you some tips and tricks to try and break down that barrier. That's going to be really important in your journey of self-discovery and intimacy, because I feel like a lot of us, we get into our heads a lot when it comes to sex, especially us as women. We strive to pleasure our partners. And sometimes we get a little locked in our own head and we start thinking about ourselves instead of thinking about our partner. So Those would be definitely my 4 tips for reclaiming your desires when it comes to having sex with your partner. So I want to take a moment to talk about how faith plays into all of this, because for a lot of us, there's this tension between being a woman of faith and owning your sexual desires. And here's the truth. God created intimacy as a gift, not something to be ashamed of. And I'm not saying that y'all should be out here just sleeping with anybody and everybody. That's not what I'm saying. But when it's rooted in love, respect, and connection, sex is a beautiful expression of the bonds that we share with our partner and with ourselves. So if you're struggling with guilt or shame around your desires, bring it to God. Pray for clarity, for peace, and for the courage to step into this part of your life without fear or without judgment. Here's what I want you to take away from today, if nothing else. Your desires do matter. Your pleasure matters. And you're allowed to want without feeling guilty or ashamed. Sexual fulfillment isn't just about the physical. It's about emotional connection, confidence, and feeling seen and valued. So, whether you're single, dating, or married, you deserve to feel fulfilled and empowered in this area of your life. For those of you who may not know, sex is actually a very big stress reliever for a lot of us, if not all of us, which is why it's so important. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend who might need to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and connect with me on social media using the hashtag #HerPathHerPower. I want to hear all about y'all's sexcapades and your journeys. Until next time, keep walking your path and owning your power. I promise you, you got this. So stay fierce, stay fabulous, and I will catch y'all next week.
Giving up seems tempting, but no need, cause I got you and you got me. A little UNITY will get us by. Through the storm and the rain, I'll be by your side. Look alive, the best has yet to come. Just some words of wisdom, plenty more. I know you've been looking for a breakthrough, trying our best to make do. Every day is something new, but change gon' come, oh yes it's true. Brighter days are straight ahead. Follow me, won't be misled. Just look up, don't hang your head, and we'll get to the promise, yeah. And it may seem like things ain't working out, but I know we gon' find a way without a doubt. Just hold on a little longer, you gon' see this through. I've been there,